The world is hurting right now, and it's time to rise up. As we lift ourselves up in body, mind, and spirit, we can reach out to others and be a light in a sea of darkness. Welcome to the Movement for Global Health with your host, Dr. Mary Zennett.
Anna Brothers is a retired school teacher and a health and educational consultant. Anna learned the importance of self-care when her dear mother was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Anna hosts a podcast, Sweet Blessings, that fulfills her mission to inspire, encourage, and empower people to live a healthy lifestyle so they can live their best lives, just like Anna. The Anna L. Brothers podcast is live streamed every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Anna, welcome to the show.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I feel like family.
Me too. Likewise. You are just wonderful. And I know you have so much to share. First, for our listeners, tell us more about your mission.
Well, my mission is to inspire, encourage, and empower people to live a better lifestyle. And the only way that you're going to do that is to be knowledgeable. And I came about this because I was always crafty, but I really came about this when my mother was diagnosed. And I realized just how much I did not know. And so I said, well, I don't know this. And I'm an adult, educator, got degrees, but just did not know too much on mental illnesses. Even though I taught school, and we were required to have so many students that were special needs. So, that's like 1, 2, 3, maybe that many, but you just don't know I just did not know the magnitude of mental illness. And so I became part of a support group within the hospital that introduced me to so much. They had all kind of programs going on for the dementia patients and their caregivers. And so my mother and I, we participated in several of those programs. They had one where you could be all dramatic and everything. And then they had a memory cafe where they could go, and they had different activities and things like that going on. And so my mother enjoyed that. It was her out, okay, because she, we were forced to put her in a facility. And so I realized that there were a lot of things that was going on to help those patients. And that in the past, and it's still that way to a certain extent, that it's always been hush hush for mental illnesses. And I felt like it was time for us to become a little more aware. But needless to say, it made me more aware. As
Yes.
opposed, I don't know about anyone else, but I became very aware. Now, because I'm going to be honest with you, I was just thinking about my mom and, you know, her condition. And I really wasn't thinking about other levels of mental illnesses. And so once I got into researching it and I looked at it and I said, oh my God, I don't know any of this. So I am going to take each one of these areas and talk about them and let people know what to look for. It's important because you never know. And let you know, because if no one tells you, you don't know what to look for.
True. It's so true.
And so I just felt like it was my duty to do that. And the other thing was that through this support group, I became part of a choir.
Oh.
And the choir was called Good Memories. I'm on the board of that thing now. And they had a choir, they met every week. They have about 8 or 9 choirs, but only one of their choirs is called Good Memories. The others is called Sounds Good. And the Good Memories is for dementia patients and their caregivers. And they put on concerts and everything. It's just it's a beautiful thing. Well, I don't know what, you know how I always say God places you in places, but they asked me to speak and tell my journey with my mom at the concert that we had. And so I did. And through that, the hospital who had steered me to this group, they had an Alzheimer day, and they asked me to come and speak there and to tell my journey. So I'm telling you why I feel like this has become my mission. And through the choir, Maria Shriver, her foundation, because her father had Alzheimer's.
Right.
They came to film the choir. Well, out of all the people there, they captured me and my mom.
Oh.
So I just felt like things were, things were like falling in place. The Washington Post interviewed me about it, and another magazine interviewed me about it. And so I just felt like that God was telling me that I needed to let people know about this disease, and that they're human beings just like anyone else, and there's nothing to be ashamed of. And I felt like my mom was ashamed, because as I was cleaning out her things after she passed, there was books on the brain and all that. She was very highly intelligent, but she had all kinds of things, where I know she had been reading.
Yes.
About it. Yeah.
Oh, but you said such an important thing. Yeah. Nothing to be ashamed of. Nothing. Your mom was so intelligent.
And to this day, I just believe that most people who get Alzheimer's, they're geniuses.
Yes. Yes.
I do believe that, and that they is somewhere in that brain. Some of them is hereditary, but I mean, I even learned that if it's hereditary,
Mhm.
the people will get it when they're in their 30s or 40s. They
Mhm.
get it early. Okay,
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
hereditary.
Mhm. Mhm.
And this support group was such an enlightening for me, because they brought in speakers, they showed films, they
Mm.
just it was just it really enlightened me. And so that's why I feel like it's necessary that people are aware of that. And I can only expound really on that part. We all have mental illnesses. That's, most people think, oh, but we all have them. No one is excluded from them. And I always try to tell people, if you're in school and you're going to take an exam,
Mhm.
if you're getting ready to speak
Mhm.
in front of a crowd, there's something that comes over you where you feel anxious. So you have
Mhm.
that anxiety there.
Right.
That's a mental illness. You might not think it is, but it truly is.
Mhm.
So I just like I said, it's I found a lot of characters there with me. I hate to say it. And if I didn't have those characteristics, I basically knew someone who
That's
had,
right.
so like I said, it was enlightening to me. And then the other thing was, I do so much. I do crafts, I do cake decorating, and those I believe that God gives you gifts. And when he gives you gifts,
Mhm.
you need to share your gifts.
Mhm.
And so I just thought I would put everything up under um, an umbrella, because I'm really good with children, have always been good with children and the babies. I deal with the preschoolers and the infants and all of those. And I've just always been able to really communicate with them well.
Mhm.
So that's it. So I'm an elderly or older person, and so I just feel like for the rest of my life, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna
Yes.
let people know, and we have fun. Have fun doing it. It's not gonna always be just knowledgeable. You know,
No,
but
you
that's
have fun too, and live life to the fullest.
yes, 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 yes. Yes,
And
and laugh at your mistakes, because we all make them, for real.
exactly. But you say it's so important to have insight, right? We all have mental issues that go on, right? Who of us is not anxious? If you weren't a little anxious, it's like, hello. Um,
Okay,
but but there's ways that we can manage and that it doesn't get the best of us. That's
coping
the key to the
skills, coping.
whole. Exactly. And I'm sure in those seminars with your mom, you learned a lot of coping
I
skills.
did, I did. Example is, oh, she used to make me so angry because she
Oh,
would do things, and oh, it was just, but I didn't know I was not aware that she was sick. And so after I got into the sessions, I felt bad because they were talking about some of the signs and stuff that she was doing, and I just didn't know. It was frustrating me. Okay. And after that, I was more understanding. Because they have a tendency to repeat themselves,
right.
and that's why I just told you that Mama was this, oh, but I understood that
Yeah.
short-term memory but I didn't understand it until I had someone to give me insight into that.
Exactly. Well, this is so important because they're saying the rates of Alzheimer's is just, it's exploding. It is the challenge of the next decade. It really is. So
Really?
it's affecting more and more people. And with your help, more people can learn what to look for. And the sooner you understand what's going on, the better it is.
Mhm.
Because like you said, when you don't know, you just get frustrated.
You do.
You
You
get
do.
frustrated. And
Yeah.
it's totally understandable. But then I'm sure you learned a lot of skills that helped your mom and then helped you.
It did.
And yeah, and now you have your podcast, and these are opportunities where you can share
Mhm.
with our listeners ways that they can optimize their own lives. It gives hope, and
Mhm.
you're giving people hope.
So- And they were also saying that don't be afraid to get help. Help is important. And they were saying that the
Yes.
research is showing that the caregivers are passing before the patients
Oh,
because it is such a stressful thing, and people sometimes think that they can handle it, but they can't. And one of the films that they showed us was them showing a patient and her husband, very, very affluent, and she had dementia,
mm,
Alzheimer's, and he did not want to put her into a facility. And so, there are different stages of Alzheimer's, and at the very beginning, she was functional.
mhm.
And they were trying to convince him and tell him, and he said, no, 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 no.
Yeah.
And over the course of the time, he had maybe 2 or 3 heart attacks. He became so ill that he
Oh,
actually passed
oh,
before her, because at one point he had to quit his job. He was picking her up because I don't know, my mother didn't have that kind of thing, but there were people in the facilities where they had to feed them, they had to do
yes.
everything. So I learned that there are different types and I'm telling you, it's just amazing.
Oh,
The knowledge, and even though you go to school, you don't get all of this. You don't get that knowledge unless you're research bound, or it happens in your family, or
exactly.
something like that. So that's basically
Wow. That is the take-home message. There's so much to learn. Now, look, here you are, Anna. You're so educated, right? You've done so much, and here, this was all new to you.
yes, that's
This
what
was new.
it was new to me. It was new to me. And so just like it's new to me, it's probably new to someone else as well.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
And
So and I don't profess to know everything. And some people have in their minds that teachers know everything. And I don't know where they get that from, for real. They're knowledgeable and they know where to find information.
exactly.
But basically that is it. They're not they don't know everything. Okay. And I never, said,
Well, and Anna, we live in the information age, so the rate of information is doubling almost every year.
Yes.
Back in 1900, it took 100 years for information to double. Why are we talking about this? Because it gives us appreciation how much new knowledge there is. And people do one or two things. They embrace it like you're like, okay, I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn and I'm going to do research. And you've got others that just say, oh, and they block it off. But if you block it off, you're blocking off so much that can really help the quality of your life and your family's life.
Dr. Z, you just said positive and fixed men's mindset in a nutshell. Seriously. When you have that fixed mindset, you just say, oh, forget it, honey. So you know that seriously. But
Exactly.
if you have that positive mindset, you're gonna say, oh, I gotta embrace this, I gotta learn about it. I'm not gonna let this, you see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That is it. Oh my God. Yes.
Yes. And you're a living embodiment. You're setting the example. Here you are, an educator, right? You know so much, but you're open to learning more.
To learn more. And you never get too old to learn. You know what? I basically try to learn something new every day.
Yep.
I think that's it. It can just be something simple. But I try to learn something else. Like when we were on the broadcast and she talking about if you press the 3 buttons, I said, oh, I learned something today. You heard me say that. I learned something.
And I think that's a really important message for our listeners.
Yeah.
No matter how much you know, to be open that there is more to learn. And because I know I've talked to many people that they get insecure. They're like, oh, no, that's just too much. No, it's never too much to be open to new ideas. And it's not a reflection on you. We need to embrace that we live in an era where there's more information than any of us can absorb. But it doesn't mean we're going to close our minds. It means we're going to be open. And like you were saying, Anna, you don't have to know everything, but you know where to find it.
That's it.
You have the information at your fingertips.
That's it.
So, and you are an early childhood educator, is that correct?
Yes, I am. I love my babies.
Tell our listeners a little bit about that.
Well, let me tell you, when I talk about vision on my thing, I'm going to talk about, I can tell you from the time, age 6, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. That was my goal in life, to be a teacher. And so I ended up being a teacher, and I'm still teaching. The podcast and working with daycares and doing my cake, teaching classes in the cake decorate. I'm still teaching. So I'm just going to say I'm just a born teacher. But I always liked the babies because that was the starting point to me. And I read this book by Burton A. White, I believe that's his name. And he was a Yale instructor in early childhood at Yale University. And his philosophy was that by the age of 6, that the child knew everything they needed to know in life. So if they did not get that good foundation by the time age 6, then they're going to be lacking in education. Well, I looked at that and I said, there's two things or maybe more that I came up with that I felt needed to happen. And one of those was there needed to be some type of program from the hospital for the parent to take home with them.
Yes.
So that they would know what to do, because there is no books on parenting. Okay. You don't go to school for parenting.
Exactly.
You can read about different things, but you're not going to read unless you're educated. Okay. So let's be honest. If you're educated, then you want to know these things. That's why I read, I was reading the book. And he gave quite a few things. And what I really liked about his philosophies and stuff, that he gave activities to do for the babies from the time they were born up until the time they were 6 years old. I mean, from the time they were in, like in the playpen, talking to them,
Right.
reading to them, doing all of those type of things. So I liked his philosophy, and I developed that philosophy with my child. Now that's another story in itself. She is a brain. So it's my granddaughter. She had, when she was born, her foot was turned a funny way. She had to wear a certain brace or something to correct that. And in the book, it talks about as they lay in the playpen, put this little bar and let them just play with it. And she played with that. It gave different activities for motor skills, cognitive skills, all of those things. So I took that his philosophy in those activities, as well as there was, I believe, a Chinese couple who had, I think, about 6 or 7 children. They all were girls, and they all were geniuses. And so when you see something like that, they're doing something. What is it that they're doing? You need to look at that, because you can learn from that, I felt. And so what they said they did was they just read to the children every day. They read from the time of conception.
Yes.
Because the first thing that develops in a baby is their hearing. That's why when the baby comes out, they know your voice, because they've heard it so many times.
That's right.
So they I just those are types of things that I think that needs to be conveyed. So I developed that with my daughter and my granddaughter. Well, not with my granddaughter, but my daughter carried it over to my granddaughter. Both of them are avid readers to this day. To the point where my granddaughter will go to the library and maybe on Friday and get maybe 4 or 5 books by Sunday. She's done with them. And then my daughter reads audiobooks. And she's an avid reader to this day, even though I was a reader too, but I don't think I was like them. But I developed those things because I said, if they're doing that, they're doing something that's right to make them do that. I don't think that the Dr. White is alive now, but I think I still have his book downstairs, because it was like a Bible to me.
Wow.
Early childhood activities to do with my child,
Yeah.
And it was to the point where reading a book, she would go and get a book. She could read the book to me.
Wow.
And seriously, she could actually, after a while, she would say, well, I said, okay, you read to me. And she could read it to me.
That's
So
incredible.
those are type of things that I need to convey. And I'm going to be honest with you, in the Black community, just here, I can say in the latter years,
Mhm.
they have been putting their children in daycares. Now,
Mhm.
put the child in the daycare, if it's not developmentally appropriate, ain't gonna do any good. You see what I'm saying? So that's where I come in with that. But I have been in situations in the school system
Mhm.
where that parent will come to me and say, I send them to school for you to teach. And so parents need to understand that they are the first teachers.
Right.
We are the second teachers.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so you need to work with your child from conception. That you need to read to them every night. It's not, see, people think you need to spend a lot of time with them, but it's not the amount of time you spend with them. It's the quality of the time
Yes.
that you spend with them. And that I can tell you right now that my daughter and my granddaughter, they look forward to reading every night before going to bed. It was a ritual.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
truly was a
Mhm.
ritual. So I don't know whether they read it or I read it, or the daddy read it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It was just a ritual, you know. So
But these are such pearls that you're sharing with us, Anna, and I'm looking forward to, with your podcast, to you sharing more. And I hope
and
our listeners' ears are burning and say, "Yeah, I want more. I want more," because they're lessons that can greatly enhance the quality of your life and your children's lives.
it really, really, yeah. So
Truly.
that's why I include children in my podcast and things to do with your children, because
Yes.
you don't find podcasts where they kind of gear toward the children.
Mhm.
It's usually on something traumatic has happened in their life, you know. I want to share that as well, but I want positive situations as well, because positive uplifts you. You don't want to be drained. And those type of situations like that are learning situations. So we have to learn, and we have to kind of like move on. I think we've all had some type of trauma or drama in our lives, you know.
It's so true. It's so true. And that's a part of, how would you say, evolving, right? It's not staying stuck. We've
Mhm.
all had tough experiences. And I'm not at all minimizing. I've worked with people with really severe trauma,
Right.
but they're people too, and there needs to be life after that trauma. And even for now, I'll tell you what, today with youngsters, okay, there's so much bullying, there's a lot of these influences, the social media, and we have to be more equipped and empowered. So the pearls you're learning from Anna as a parent are only going to help you be the very best parent that you can be. And because it's not an easy world out there.
Mm-mm.
That's an understatement.
Not easy at all.
But we want to, as Anna's saying, and I think that's what I'm hearing you say, Anna, yeah, take a positive stance, take a positive position, and, don't give up hope. Say, it just deepens your hope.
Mm-hmm.
It deepens your resolve
Mm-hmm.
that you're going to learn more, you're going to implement, and you're going to do better. You're going to feel better.
I think the Bible says it best. You got to persevere. You got to persevere. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And, Anna, we live in a quick fix society. Everything is, we want it yesterday. Zip, zip, that we want it. But The body doesn't work that way. The mind doesn't work that way. Our physiology doesn't work that way. And like you say, perseverance wins the race. And you persist, whatever it is, if it's taken one step, like if you learn something from Anna, you say, okay, well, I'm going to try to put this into practice. Or you say, I'm going to put it, but it might be hard. That's okay. Practice, 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 practice. Be good to yourself. Hey, you say, I'm doing this.
You're right. Pat yourself on the back.
That's right. But it doesn't mean to give up.
Right.
Keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. And then, like what do they say? Every day and every way, then we get better and better.
Right. I always use the analogy of the baby learning how to walk. Okay. They get up, they try, they crawl, they pull up, but eventually they start walking.
Exactly.
And believe it or not, they can't even remember when they didn't walk. It's so amazing, but
it is.
That's like how life is. Okay, and all it is the baby practicing. He kept practicing and practicing until he got it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, he saw all these people. Now everybody's standing up, walking on two legs, and I'm down here crawling. What's going on here? Got to get this together. You just don't know what's going on in their mind, but you can see it calculating. You know what I'm saying? And when they finally get up and they can they just standing there, they don't know whether to move that foot or not. You know what I'm saying? But it is so amazing. They are the learning there, and just the babies are very important to me, because babies can be mentally challenged as well, just by their care.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's been studies where, when you talk to them lovingly and how are you, and then you talk to them another way, they're rigid, so they can sense that even at that age. So I don't know. I just feel like I need to let people know. I live in a state where we're fortunate to have a governor that is for early childhood education.
Oh, beautiful.
So therefore, I'm not going to say that it's perfect, because it's not, but it is a stepping stone. And so a lot of money has been put into that. And we do a lot of, lobbying with the politicians and stuff like that, the different organizations, to get legislation and stuff like that passed, because it's important.
Yes.
Hopefully one day everyone will be able to have daycare and be able to go to a facility that's developmentally appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
But we also want to take in consideration those people who do homeschooling. Everyone doesn't go there, but we need to provide activities as well for homeschoolers, because we do have quite a bit, a large population that is there, and we want to make sure that they get everything that they need as well.
That's right. And all these things help create a healthy world.
Yes, it does. Yes, it
really does.
People don't realize it, but it really does.
But it really does. Oh, it does. And that's why, Anna, your work is so important. And before we close, where can our listeners learn more about you?
They can contact me at Lastine. It's LASSTINE TEEN 1 at Yahoo, not at gmail.com.
Okay,
And they can also contact me through CTR Media Network.
beautiful, beautiful. And your podcast is on ctrmedianetwork.com. All people need to do is look at the shows, and they can find you.
Right. I'll just scroll down till you find my picture, click on it, and you'll find all my
Beautiful.
information and stuff there.
And what we'll do in the show notes of the broadcast, we'll have those links.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Do you have a website?
Well, I have several websites. Which one do you want? I have the one with CTR Media Network. Okay, that one is with my podcast.
Okay.
Because we get a website there. But I also have one for my jewelry, which is the Jazzy Jewels Collections, and Collections has an S on it, .com. That is my other website.
Okay, so we'll include that as well. And Anna, before we close, any thoughts, any final thoughts for our audience today?
Well, no, not really. I always end my broadcast with those 3 L's. So, I'm going to pass that on to your listeners as well, because I think that they're very important. And that is live, laugh, and love. So you want to
beautiful.
live your life. Yeah, you want to live it to the fullest. You want to laugh, because laugh makes you feel good. And don't forget to love. Thank you for having me, Dr. Zennett.
Oh, thank you so much, Anna. What a privilege. So, all right, listeners, and we know you're going to enjoy listening to this over again. And stay tuned. Subscribe to Anna's podcast, because she's got a wealth of knowledge, and we're all the better for it. Thank you so much, Anna.
Thank you. Let's see how I get.